Next on Paranormal, Caught on Camera. An investigator in Tennessee
What was that?
captures a shadow figure lurking around an old prison.
Honestly, it's one of the most compelling pieces of evidence I've ever captured.
A man rents a vacation home in New York
I'm telling you, this place is haunted.
with a haunted piano.
You can see like a key pressed down, and we sprinted and took off out the door because I was just so freaked out.
An internet cafe in the Philippines has a poltergeist problem.
It's undeniable that she's dealing with something supernatural.
And even more paranormal footage you have to see
Dear God, they've arrived.
to believe. In 1896, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary became Tennessee's first maximum security prison. And for more than 100 years, it was filled with the most violent of offenders. And because many of the inmates served life sentences, it came to be known as the end of the line, where countless convicts who died there were also buried on the property. Since closing in 2009, Brushy Mountain has come to be known as a paranormal hotspot, with reports of disembodied voices, cells clanging, and apparitions. Just ask an investigator who's been there dozens of times, because he just keeps capturing more proof.
What was that?
November 2017, Petros, Tennessee.
Okay, it's recording.
Jonathan Turner and his two friends, James and Tim, have just arrived at Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary to conduct an investigation.
We're going to start it off here in the cafeteria where a lot of reports of paranormal activities happened.
And he's brought a few ghost hunting devices, including an EMF detector.
It'll go off if we run into any electromagnet. Now, there's no electricity here whatsoever.
Which is believed to get a reading when a spirit is present.
If you're here, walk to this black box. I'll set it right here. Oh, it just went way off, dude.
Really? My name is John Turner, and this is my video.
There's no electricity in here.
There's no electricity in here.
When the prison closed, all power, electricity had been disconnected, and at that time, they hadn't opened the prison up for public tours yet. So there was no power on the property whatsoever.
Dude, it keeps going. God, it shot up over 800.
The only way we're going to get electromagnetic spikes is because there's some type of paranormal phenomena that's trying to manifest.
Oh, it shot up over 1100 just then.
And it's believed that when you get electromagnetic frequencies, the higher the read, the closer you are to like some sort of manifestation.
Which is exactly what happens
Did you hear that?
just a couple of minutes later.
What was that?
Did you see it? Watch again, in slow motion, as a shadow figure walks between two columns and then disappears.
What was that?
Which John doesn't realize the magnitude of until he reviews the footage later.
At first, I thought it was a shadow of my friend James. And then as I got to looking where the lighting position was, it was impossible for his shadow to be cast that direction. Honestly, it's one of the most compelling pieces of evidence I've ever captured.
The shadow figure is actually quite interesting because if you look carefully, you can see that it's kind of bent over, it's got its arms out, and then it looks like it's lurking or sneaking away.
It doesn't really even look like it takes on a human form. It has a big bulbous head and like really broad shoulders. I mean, I don't know what this thing is manifesting into, but it's something I don't think I want to encounter.
From there, the three men head over to the cells. And as John enters one of them, listen closely.
I won't go in here and see if anything weird is.
Did you hear that? Listen again. As John's digital recorder picks up a voice,
If anything weird is.
which again, John doesn't realize at the time. But when he listens to the recording later, he recognizes the name, Gibson.
Robert Gibson was actually an inmate there that was pretty notorious. There was a situation happened where some prisoners got a hold of a firearm and basically held two prison guards hostage on one of the cell blocks, and one gentleman at least was murdered and another one shot during that night. And he wasn't the one who done it, but he was part of that group that did that. He kind of ruled the prison at the time. So it's kind of interesting to get that evidence that kind of directly ties to what actually went on there.
The trick with a recording like this is kind of a challenge that we're dealing with across the board of determining whether this is intelligent or residual. Is this a voice that is locked in time and is going to repeat on its own cycle, or is this someone that has an awareness that continues to exist within these prison walls and is making themselves known and even lashing out against someone that they don't really care for?
Whichever it is, it's safe to say that something is very active at Brushy Mountain State.
In all my experiences doing paranormal investigation, Brushy stands right at the top of all the places I've ever been. Thousands of men lost their lives there, tons of tragedy, and just all that energy culminates to just make this like portal of activity.
What was that?
Coming up, an upstate New York house rental
I'm telling you, this place is haunted.
has a haunted piano. There's a saying that music is the key to the soul, as it can convey a person's innermost feelings in ways words can't begin to express. But is it possible that this poetic thought applies to more than just the living? One man from Texas suspects that may be the case after feeling his skepticism turn to terror.
If I die, I swear, I will.
With one single note. October 2024, in Skaneateles Lake, New York. Trent Williams and some friends are staying at a lakeside rental property that past guests have claimed is haunted. And while Trent doesn't truly believe in ghosts, he films a video for social media, just for kicks.
The guy did say, just FYI, we do have people say that they hear a piano play at night. That's the piano, and it freaks me out. I have chill bumps just being in this room. I do not get a good vibe, but it's scary as
Despite being freaked out, Trent stops recording shortly after and leaves it at that. Until the third night of his stay, when he hears this sound from another room.
I'm telling you, this place is haunted. Do you heard that?
Yeah, I can't do this. It's so scary.
No, you go in there with me.
Yes. You have to go first.
Stay behind me. You.
My name's Trent, and this is my video. We were cooking dinner one night, just kind of chatting, and I swear I thought I heard like the sound of a piano playing, and we were both like, wait, listen. And then it kind of kept playing, which of course I'm like freaked out, so I go kind of look in there, like we're peeping around the corner. Nobody's in there.
I swear to God, there's nobody in there.
To the point where we're like, I want to see if I can't get this on film.
It keeps playing, I swear. No, dude, I'm not going up in that bitch. It's this piano, I swear to God it is. No, dude, you got me up. If I die, I swear, I will. Oh, God.
Dude, no.
In the video I filmed, you can see like a key press down. And we sprinted and took off out the door.
Dude, no.
I had a flight the next morning at 9 a.m. and decided to leave the place around 2 in the morning after all this went down. And I stayed at the airport just because I was just so freaked out.
I used to play piano as a kid, and in order to make that sound, you have to hit that key. It can't be just plucked. The strings inside are covered inside that piano, and we literally see one of the keys go down to create that sound. That blew me away.
It's going all the way down, which tells me there's a physical process here of manipulating the key, and not so much the piano string was expanding because of temperature. No, something is pushing the key down.
But who or what is that something?
The father who had built this cabin a long time ago had 2 daughters, and one of them got in a horrible car accident back in college like a long time ago, and had passed away from the incident. And the ashes of her remains were on the piano in the room downstairs.
I'm telling you, this place is haunted.
Without a doubt, where somebody's remains are is definitely a catalyst for their presence. Absolutely. I'm sure that his daughter had spent time in that property, and she's probably just kind of staying close to that. I would, in my opinion, believe that playing that piano, making these sounds, are just a way of letting people know that she's still here.
As an investigator, if I were called in to this cabin, my first question would be, did your daughter play this piano? Did she come to this cabin? What's the significance of the piano? Where did this piano come from? Because I almost wonder if it's not so much her ashes, but more just her energy being attached to the piano.
Unfortunately, we may never know for sure.
It's this piano, I swear to God it is.
But whatever the reason for the note to be played, one thing's for certain. Trent is more than comfortable leaving the whole thing alone.
I am not somebody who's ever kind of believed in that type of stuff. But it wasn't until I literally experienced it firsthand.
I swear to God, there's nobody in there.
That I was like, yeah, no, because I can feel like some type of presence, and I swear on it. If I have no reason to go back, I will not. Respectfully, I saw what I needed to see. I believe in that stuff now. I am good.
Coming up, did a woman touring a Louisiana plantation capture shadow figures in a field? Due to their dark pasts, many plantations in the South are considered to be rife with paranormal activity. But perhaps none are as active as Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana, which ranks among the top 10 most haunted places in America. Throughout the years, visitors and staff have reported hearing footsteps, children laughing, and seeing apparitions. Recently, a woman went there to see for herself. And although she didn't spot anything unusual, her camera most certainly did. January 2024, St. Francisville, Louisiana. Laquita Johnson and her family are hoping to capture some paranormal activity at Myrtles Plantation to post on their paranormal investigation channel.
We're just walking around the area, trying to see what we can see, taking pictures and videotaping, see what images we can catch.
Her husband films on his camera.
This is the plantation house. This is the field where the slaves used to work.
And Laquita films on hers. And while they walk around all afternoon, they don't see anything out of the ordinary. That is, until they get home and review their footage. Watch very closely. Did you see it? Watch again in slow motion. At the end of the path to the house, a white figure dashes from left to right.
My name is Laquita, and these are my videos. It was so fast, ran across the screen, and then I was like, wait, it looked animated. It was really, really weird. It's definitely paranormal because it was not there. It looked like it can be like a person, but being that it ran so fast, it kind of resembled that it can be like a horse, animal, or whatever, because it was big, it was huge.
So, what was that?
It looked like maybe I was seeing forelegs and hind legs like a horse or a deer, maybe, so I kept trying to freeze frame it, and I interestingly couldn't. The motion when I watched it all together told me one thing, and then kind of trying to stop and go frame by frame just gave me this strange, shifting gray shadow.
It doesn't seem likely that this was a living, breathing human who just happened to be there and run across without anyone noticing. And how do you explain the extreme speed? It looks like something from a horror movie.
And that's not all Laquita captures. In another part of the plantation, watch closely. Dark figures manifest and run across the field. Which again, Laquita and her family do not see until later at home. Nor did they see anyone else on that lawn.
It's like they didn't want me to see them. It's like they seen me coming, but it's like they're hiding from something.
To me, it looks like I see like two shadow figures. One runs up to the other and almost past it, and then you see another one kind of moving about towards the right of the screen. If these were actual people, we would be able to make out their skin color, we would be able to make out the color of the clothing that they're wearing, but I don't see any of those details, which leads me to believe that she captured shadow people.
It looked like someone was running through a field. Like someone was trying to get away from someone, or it was trying to get somewhere with urgency.
I personally think there was former slaves, just by the way that they was running and hiding.
Which, given the location, would make sense.
A lot of horrible things happened on Plantation. So people were killed, murdered. So you have anger, depression, oppression. And I think that residual energy, it just keeps moving and recreating. I think all of that just culminates into just a hot pot for paranormal activity.
And though that's what Laquita and her family went there for, she's glad she didn't see it in person.
If I would have seen that while I was there, while they were running one way, I would have ran the other way. That's what would have happened.
But it's not holding her back from future visits.
Being at the Myrtles Plantation, catching the videos, it actually made me more interested in learning what's on the other side, seeing if is anything or any way we can help them cross over.
Coming up, what is haunting this internet cafe in the Philippines? As is fairly evident by now, EMFs, or electromagnetic fields, have long been associated with paranormal activity. Because many believe that spirits harness energy from electric currents in order to manifest or move objects. Which is why ghost hunters often use an EMF meter that detects fluctuations, indicating that a spirit might be present. But make no mistake, one doesn't need an EMF meter to know when spirits are manifesting. Just ask a woman in the Philippines who wasn't even looking for ghosts, but found herself surrounded by their energy. All the same. October 7th, 2023, Marilao, Philippines. It's 1 a.m. And Jenny De La Cruz is stopping by her boyfriend's internet cafe to pick up some documents for him on her way home. But as she gathers the papers, a computer mouse falls off the desk next to her, which Jenny notices, but assumes is the work of the shop's cat, and continues with her task. Until about 30 seconds later, when she's interrupted again. And while the cat is nowhere to be seen, Jenny is still, mostly, unconcerned. Until... watch again. As a pair of headphones falls off another desk. What on earth is going on here?
Hi, my name is Jenny and this is my video.
The third time that something fell, I thought that it wasn't just the cat that was moving those things around. At that point, I was really nervous.
So nervous that Jenny heads outside to call her boyfriend and tell him what is happening. But when she returns a few moments later to close up the shop, it seems whatever has been moving objects isn't quite done yet. Watch this chair very closely. right after Jenny turns off the lights. It slides across the floor.
There was a chair moving. Then it felt like something was holding me. So I turned around all of a sudden. And then I just tossed what I was holding. And then I ran to the door. I just closed up the computer shop immediately, and I went home right away.
Whatever is in this location, it is demanding her attention and revealing its presence in a multitude of ways. It's almost as if whatever is with her wasn't satisfied by her reactions each time it did something. It's undeniable that she's dealing with something supernatural.
But what exactly is that something?
I think just looking at this clip, we would label this more poltergeist activity, which means like the erratic motion of objects. So not necessarily intelligent, but very active.
A poltergeist specifically, in its noise-making and its chaos, isn't about communicating a message. It's not the kind of haunting that we might think of where there's unfinished business and they need the assistance of the living to help them complete their story. This really is just, I'm here, I'm making noise, notice me.
And it seems like the perfect location to do so.
When you have something like an internet cafe and you have all this technology, almost like a mini portal of sorts, it seems to be a way for these spirits or poltergeists to tap into and use that energy to manifest or even move objects.
Whatever it was, and however it got there, it was more than enough to drive Jenny out of the cafe immediately.
I can definitely understand the moment she was touched by something, it became real for her. Seeing stuff in the distance is still alarming, but at least you're not included. The moment spirits include you in on the fun, yeah, then it gets serious.
If I worked there, I wouldn't work there. How about that? Because as soon as that happened, that was my last day there.
After 3 months of staying away, Jenny finally returned to the cafe, albeit reluctantly.
It was a scary experience. I do believe that it is haunted. I came to realize that we were not the only ones living here in the world. There are other spirits that roam here with us, so we should respect them.
Coming up, a couple on the Oregon coast.
Is this?
Spots something otherworldly in the sky.
Dear God, they've arrived.
When determining if a UFO is truly otherworldly, one generally disqualifying condition is the appearance of some kind of exhaust or contrail. As most extraterrestrial crafts are believed to fly without any earthly signs of visible propulsion. Unless, of course, that sign of visible propulsion is itself otherworldly. Just ask one couple in Oregon who seem to have captured exactly that.
Dear God, they've arrived.
February 26th, 2025, Newport, Oregon. A man named Mark and his wife are walking on a beach near their home, something they do 3 to 4 times a week. But tonight, their usual stroll is interrupted by something unusual. in the sky.
Weird. It doesn't look like an airplane.
It's a long trail of what appears to be black smoke hovering in the air.
It's getting way bigger and closer. The is this?
Which to Mark is unlike anything he's ever seen.
Dear God, they've arrived.
I live on the Oregon coast, and this is my video. For a second, I thought it was a plane, and then pretty quickly realized this is absolutely not a plane. It was going super slow, putting out a ton of black smoke, which was weird. I just saw this and was pretty taken aback at how bizarre it was.
It's getting way bigger and closer.
This is a really fascinating UAP because it is unlike almost all of the unidentified aerial phenomena that we see on the show, mainly in that it's not lit up. This is a dark, sinewy line in the sky, hanging there almost vertically.
It also started in the middle of the sky, right? Like, did you think it would start earlier?
Yeah, it gets weirder and weirder.
We can certainly rule out airplanes, helicopters, drones, even balloons. Clearly doesn't look like this thing was a terrestrial launch. The trail of it doesn't proceed to the ground. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It seems to just hang there.
The space shuttle drops. That's not a space shuttle.
But as remarkable as this sighting is, as Mark zooms in with his phone, it becomes even more so.
See the tip? It looks like a sewing needle. Oh, okay, it's disconnecting.
Up at the top, at a certain moment, we see almost as if it breaks off. The rest of it is there, fully intact as we had been seeing it, but for some reason, the top just kind of comes off and dissipates. I don't really know how to explain that. That was a very weird moment in this footage.
What the hell was that?
So there was the smoke. You could see it coming out of two exhaust areas, like a V shape out of the UAP, and it seemed to disconnect. Why would it separate from the exhaust like that? Why would it turn off?
Saying you messed up. Confirmed. They're here.
And Mark's bafflement is even more telling when you consider the breadth of his experience.
I'm 36 years old, grew up in Central Florida with tons of rockets going off, and was in the military for 4 years, 2 deployments with rockets and missiles and all kinds of stuff going on. It didn't resemble anything like I'd seen.
The fact that he's served in the military, he's aware of certain aircraft and maybe what we have. So the fact that he's taken aback by what he's looking at, that is really important to note. And I think it just adds a level of credibility to what we're looking at.
That was so
You mess up. Confirmed. They're here.
But perhaps Mark's extensive knowledge on aircraft isn't helping. Because what he and his wife witnessed that day isn't a craft at all.
Scientists believe that they found some kind of extraterrestrial life way up in the stratosphere. They call them microbioles. An extraterrestrial life form made out of organisms. Is it possible that this could be one of those things that actually just kind of came down to Earth?
Possibly. But whatever it is, Mark is very comfortable making his best educated guess.
I'm not a big alien conspiracy theorist. I just saw that, and that was the only real answer that I could come up with, because I don't know of anything that our governments or that we as humans have that behaves like that. Still no answers, still no idea. Probably the most UFO likely sighting that I've ever had in my life. That was weird.
Coming up, a worker in Mexico.
¿Qué será?
Spots a giant figure on top of a mine.
Miren cómo se mueve.
According to the Aztecs, there once existed a race of huge, human/godlike beings, or giants, who, among many other things, were responsible for building the largest pyramid in the world, the Great Pyramid of Cholula. And while these giant beings don't often come up in conversations about the paranormal, there are those who believe they still roam the earth. And if you're skeptical, consider the case of one man in Mexico who may have inadvertently caught one on camera.
¿Qué será?
(2014) Chihuahua, Mexico. A worker steps out of the mines to call his wife. But when he glances toward the mountain near his worksite, he spots something truly bizarre.
Esta es la mina. Pero lo más raro, vean.
It's a humanoid figure standing on the mountaintop that, given the distance between it and the filmer, should be just a speck on the horizon, but is apparently gigantic. How is this possible?
Whoever or whatever it is, it seems to be gazing down upon the landscape beneath it, as if it's some sort of giant mountain god looking down on the world and sort of surveying its domain.
Como si fuera una sombra de un hombre ahí arriba, a la entrada de la mina, como si nos estuvieran cuidando.
This footage is very hair-raising in a sense. It kind of instills that, what am I looking at? This shouldn't be, this can't be. I mean, we're seeing something very tall, very large. When you're looking at the tree next to it, for context, you realize how massive this thing is. It doesn't really add up.
Miren. Miren cómo se mueve.
Even more intriguing, according to the man filming, the steep rock on the top of the summit was inaccessible to anyone, including the mining crew, whose activity may be the reason the massive figure is making an appearance.
La entrada a la mina, socavón, en la parte más arriba, como si una silueta de un hombre.
The location of this footage is especially interesting to me because it's a mine, and a mine is also a cave, and there are legends about giants sleeping in caves, living in caves, and typically within those stories, you should not disturb a sleeping giant.
And if you think giants only exist in fairy tales, think again.
Giants appear across mythology, folklore, and ancient narratives, like the Celtic Fomorians, the biblical Nephilim, or even the Cyclops in Greek mythology. But there's also the Quinametsin in ancient Aztec myth.
We know that in Aztec mythology, ancient Mexican populations, there was a strong belief in a race of giants. There are stories about the bodies of giants being found, stories about battles between normal-sized humans and giants, and there's even a belief that the enormous pyramids of ancient Mesoamerica were built by those giants.
Ya está abriendo los brazos. Como si nos estuvieran cuidando. ¿Qué será?
Whether an actual godlike giant or something else entirely, the impossibly large figure eventually disappears.
Se está moviendo. Ahí se está moviendo.
And though the sight of it might have freaked the miner out, it's possible he had nothing to worry about.
I could understand why something like a giant or a Quinta Metzen apparition or individual can be overlooking something like a quarry that's cutting stone of earth, because that's what they did. They were the builders of the Teotihuacan and Cholula pyramids. So maybe this was actually a good omen, that you are cutting stone from sacred quarries or a sacred site, and it's being overlooked by these revered giants in Aztec mythology.
And as far as supervisors go, depending on one's perspective, you could do worse than a god.
Está abriendo los brazos. Como si nos estuvieran cuidando.
What should you do in the event you witness something paranormal? Here are some tips to get it all on camera.
¿Qué será?
Check your footage. And then, check it again. Trust that what you're seeing,
they've arrived,
really is otherworldly. Don't stop recording.
What was that?
Even if you're scared. And if you do catch something, email us at submitparanormal@gmail.com. Your footage could be seen right here on Paranormal Caught on Camera.